Retired Sniper General Robert Mitchell told his wife that morning, "Call 911 right now." The woman had never seen her husband of 42 years this serious. The general continued while looking through his binoculars out the window. "White van, 3 children in danger, we have 4 minutes." And he reached for the key to his gun safe. Welcome to Retired People Stories. Before we share this incredible tale of vigilance and heroism, let us know in the comments where you're watching from today. And if you believe retired heroes deserve to have their stories preserved, hit that subscribe button and support our channel, because some soldiers retire, but trained eyes never sleep. Tuesday morning, November 8th, 7:42 a.m. In one of Colorado Springs' quiet suburbs, everything seemed normal on Oakwood Street. Fall leaves scattered on the ground, neighbors warming up their cars for work, children waiting for the school bus. General Robert Mitchell, 68 years old, retired sniper, 32 years in the U.S. Army. Started with the Rangers, became a sniper with Delta Force, retired with the rank of general. Over 2,000 confirmed shots. Served in Iraq, Afghanistan, places that couldn't even be named. But now he was just Bob, Margaret's husband, grandfather to 3. He had the same routine every morning. Up at 05:30, old habits die hard. Coffee, newspaper, then settling into his armchair in the living room to watch the street through the window. Margaret would tease him. "You still act like you're on duty." But that morning was different. Looking out the window, he was using his Steiner binoculars as usual. Bought them for bird watching. At least that's what he told Margaret. In reality, he couldn't shake old habits. He'd scan the street, note in his mind who came out when. Which car was unfamiliar. At 7:40, a white van stopped at the corner of the street. Ford Transit, Ikebin on Seiki's model, license plate covered in mud. Intentionally, rear windows spray-painted dark. Mitchell's instincts awakened. He focused the binoculars on the van. Driver was in his 30s, black hoodie, wearing sunglasses. At 7:40 in the morning, in winter, didn't make sense. Then he began seeing details. Inside the van were child car seats, 3 of them. But something was wrong. The seats didn't have regular seat belts, they had plastic zip ties. Why would a normal parent use plastic restraints? Mitchell stood up, focused the binoculars more carefully. The driver had something in his lap, shiny, metallic, Glock 19, with a suppressor. "Margaret!" His voice was different than usual, the command voice he'd used in his 32-year military career. Margaret came running from the kitchen. "What's wrong? Are you okay?" "Call 911, now." White Ford Transit van, corner of Oakwood and Maple, armed suspect, probable child abduction attempt. Margaret's face went white, but she didn't hesitate. 42 years of marriage had taught her one thing. When Robert said danger, there was danger. Mitchell went to the gun safe, unlocked it, took out his Remington 700, the rifle he'd maintained in retirement, kept the barrel oiled, saved it for the moment. The moment had come. He returned to the window. 3 children were waiting at the bus stop. 2 looked like sisters, 8 and 10 years old. 1 boy, 11 or 12. Backpacks, normal clothes. Everything looked normal. But Mitchell was watching the van driver. The man was talking on his cell phone. Then he hung up and got out of the van. Mitchell's heart rate increased. The man started walking toward the children. "When will the police arrive?" he asked without looking at Margaret. They said 3 to 4 minutes. Too long. The man would reach the children in 30 seconds. Mitchell made his decision. He rested the Remington on the windowsill. Range calculation, 420 meters. Wind, 8 miles per hour from the west. Humidity, 40%. Automatic calculations spinning in his brain. But he couldn't fire yet. The man hadn't committed a crime yet. Maybe he was wrong. Maybe he was paranoid. Then the man pulled something from his pocket, a cloth, poured liquid on it from a bottle, chloroform. "Damn it!" Mitchell grabbed the phone. The 911 operator was still on the line. "Suspect has chloroform out, 20 meters from the children. I'm intervening." "Sir, please wait." Mitchell dropped the phone, opened the window. Cold morning air rushed in. He took aim. 32 years of training kicked in. Breath control, heart rate control, hands steady. The man had reached the children. He was smiling, reached into his pocket, probably pretending to pull out candy or a toy. Hey kids, your school bus broke down. I'm the replacement. Let's go. The older girl hesitated. But you're not our driver. I know, sweetie, but the school sent me. Look, I have a list. He pulled out a fake paper. Mitchell waited. Not yet. The man hadn't made physical contact yet. The younger girl approached the man. Did the school really send you? The man smiled and touched the girl's shoulder. That was the moment. Mitchell pulled the trigger. The bullet impacted 2 inches in front of the man's foot. Asphalt exploded. The man jumped. What? Second shot. The other side of the man's foot. The man looked around, trying to understand where it came from. Mitchell grabbed the megaphone. Old army megaphone he kept ready for emergencies. Man on the ground, drop your weapon, hands up, this is your final warning. The voice carried 4 blocks away. Windows opened, people looked out. The man panicked, pulled out the Glock, looked around. When he saw the children, he turned toward them, thinking to take hostages. Mitchell made the 3rd shot. The bullet hit the Glock's barrel. The gun flew from the man's hand. Impossible! The man shouted, hitting a gun from 420 meters. Only elite snipers could do that. The children started screaming and running. The man tried to grab them. 4th shot, passed through the edge of the man's hood, took a lock of his hair. The man dropped to the ground. Okay, I surrender. Police sirens were approaching. 30 seconds later, 3 patrol cars rounded the corner. Officers approached the van with weapons drawn. Mitchell lowered his rifle, took a deep breath. His hands started shaking, adrenaline crash. Margaret came beside him, touched his shoulder. Are you okay? I'm fine. The children are safe. That's what matters. Police searched the van. They found a complete abduction kit. Restraints, chloroform, sleeping drugs, fake IDs, and photos of children from 3 different states. Detective Harrison, coincidental name similarity, came to Mitchell's house. General Mitchell, I'm Detective Harrison. First of all, outstanding work. Mitchell nodded. Just made an observation. Hitting a Glock from 420 meters is more than observation, sir. Lucky shot, the detective laughed. I read your file, General. Over 2,000 confirmed shots. Record 2,100 meters wasn't luck. Those days are behind me. Apparently not. That man is Mark Stevens, serial child abductor the FBI's been hunting. 12 children across 5 states. Without you, he'd have 3 more today. Mitchell looked out the window. The children were with their families. Police were talking to them. They were safe. Just in the right place at the right time. No, sir. You were the right person with the right skills. Those children's families will be grateful to you for the rest of their lives. That evening, the news channels made it their headline. Retired sniper general saves 3 children. Security camera footage, though blurry, went viral. The 420-meter shots became legend. The next day, the doorbell rang. 3 families were at the door, the rescued children and their parents. Jennifer, the oldest girl's mother, spoke. General Mitchell, we don't know how to thank you. Don't thank me. It was my duty. You're retired. It wasn't your duty. Mitchell looked at the little girl. She still looked scared, but she was safe. Mrs. Turner, I served 32 years in uniform, but when the uniform comes off, duty doesn't end. It just changes form. I'm not protecting my country anymore. I'm protecting my neighbors. Little Emma stepped forward. She had a drawing in her hand. She'd drawn Mitchell at the window with binoculars. This is for you. You're my guardian angel. Mitchell's eyes welled up. He took the drawing. Thank you, Emma. This means so much to me. FBI agents came to gather information, write reports. One of them, Agent Thompson, spoke privately to Mitchell. General, the FBI needs consultant snipers. Part-time. You could train. Mitchell shook his head. I'm retired. Think about it, sir. Your skills are still sharp. You proved that today. A week later, the local school invited Mitchell to speak. He accepted. 200 students gathered. Mitchell hadn't worn his uniform, just casual clothes. I'm not going to talk about sniping, he began. I'm going to talk about attention. Observe your surroundings, see details, notice what's not normal. Today, 3 children were saved because I was paying attention while looking out my window. A student asked, could you have killed him? Mitchell paused. Yes. But killing is the last option. Saving lives is always the priority. What if he had run? I'd have shot him in the leg, but he didn't run. Scaring him was enough. Another student. Weren't you afraid? What if you missed? Mitchell smiled. I trained for 32 years not to miss, but yes, I was afraid. Afraid I'd be too late. Fear is normal. What matters is acting despite the fear. After the talk, the principal approached. General Mitchell, you've inspired our students. I hope they've learned to be safe. They've learned more. They've learned that heroes don't retire. That night, Mitchell wrote in his journal, "Today they asked me why I still watch from the window. The answer is simple, because I still can see. My eyes may be aging, but my training is alive. My instincts are sharp. For 32 years, I hit targets from 2,000 meters, stopped enemies, saved lives. Today, I stopped a criminal from 420 meters. The distance shortened, but the mission is the same. Protect the innocent. Retirement is just taking off the uniform. But being a soldier, being a protector, being a watcher, these live in the soul, and the soul doesn't retire. Margaret is right. I look paranoid, looking out the window every day, noting every car, every stranger. But today, this paranoia saved 3 children. Maybe it's not paranoia. Maybe it's preparedness. Maybe it's duty." 2 months later, Mitchell accepted consulting for the FBI 2 days a month. He was teaching young snipers observation and detection. What he said in his first class wasn't forgotten. No matter how good your rifle is, if your eyes don't see, it's useless. I'm 68 years old. My hands shake, my eyes aren't what they were. But I can still stop a threat from 420 meters. Why? Because I saw first. Long before pulling the trigger, I saw. Being a sniper isn't just shooting, it's seeing, understanding, deciding, and only if necessary, shooting. A young agent asked, "What if you'd been wrong? What if he was just a normal bus driver?" Mitchell answered, "Then my warning shots would have scared a man and I'd have apologized. But I wasn't wrong. For 32 years I've done threat assessment. My instincts have never failed me. And that day, when I saw the chloroform, I knew for certain." The neighbors on Oakwood Street now looked at Mitchell differently. He wasn't just the retired general. He was their silent guardian. When they saw him sitting at his window each morning, they felt relieved. Someone was watching, someone was paying attention, someone was protecting them. And Mitchell. He got up every morning at 5:30, got his coffee, sat in his window chair, and scanned the street with his Steiner binoculars. Paranoia? Maybe. Habit? Definitely. Necessary? Ask 3 children. The truth is, across America, in every neighborhood, there are Robert Mitchells. Men and women who served, who protected, who watched. They don't wear uniforms anymore. They don't seek recognition. They live quiet lives among us. But their eyes still see. Their instincts still work. Their skills still exist. Mitchell proved something that November morning. He proved that retirement is just a word. That service is a lifetime commitment. That once you've been trained to protect, you never really stop. At 68, with arthritis in his fingers and reading glasses in his pocket, he was more dangerous to evil than any young soldier could be. Because he had something that can't be taught in basic training, can't be earned at the range, can't be given by rank. He had decades of knowing exactly when to act, the patience to wait for the right moment, the confidence to take the shot when it mattered, and most importantly, the wisdom to know that saving lives is always more important than taking them. 6 months after the incident, a package arrived at Mitchell's house. Inside was a letter from Emma, the youngest girl he'd saved. She'd written in crayon, "Dear Mr. Mitchell, my mom says you're a hero. I think you're an angel. Angels watch over us from heaven, but you watch over us from your window. Thank you for saving me. Love, Emma P.S. I check for bad people now, too." Mitchell framed the letter, hung it next to his bronze star, his silver star, his purple heart. Of all his commendations, it meant the most, because it reminded him why he'd served in the first place, not for medals, not for rank, not for recognition, but to ensure that little girls like Emma could write letters in crayon, safe in their homes, protected by those who watch. And he would keep watching, every morning, from his window, with his Steiner binoculars, because that's what guardians do. They never really retire.